Welcome to the Connecting with DZ video series. Our last topic is a focus on DZ's Top 10. DZ, you've been alive for 8.5 decades and mentored future and existing pharmacy leaders for over 50 years. In this time, you've offered thousands of ideas and suggestions that have successfully changed people's lives and careers for the better. Today, we have 10 things for DZ in the form of a top 10 list of suggestions for the future of pharmacy and for future pharmacy leaders. So DZ, we just have one question for you with this segment in 10 parts. Thinking about where you are and where our profession is headed, what are your top 10 suggestions for future pharmacy leaders to inspire their future success?
Number one is never forget how important medications are in our life. We get all wrapped up with all of the business and discussions and that sort of stuff, but never forget, what would it be like if we did not have all the medications that you folks deal with every day? How would everybody's life be different? There's very few people that go through a day without taking some medication, OTC or otherwise. It's a very important part of our life that we just kind of overlook. But as pharmacists, maybe we have a special societal role in terms of being sure it's done as well as it can. So we should never forget that when we get distracted by a lot of small and other activities that we think are important. Medications are crucial to our life. Number two, so pharmacists think differently than other health professions and they don't really know it. If you look at it, the requirements for pre-pharmacy and during pharmacy, it's very systematic. A lot of science, a lot of math, a lot of sequential thinking, a lot of kind of predicting based on sort of scientific methodology. And then you get into your clinical years and you have a lot of patient contact. And so you think different, but you don't know it. And so always as a pharmacist, how do you bring value in every discussion? Because your thought pattern will be different than physicians, administrators, nurses, and other people just because of your entire training process. So your thought pattern is different. So how do you bring value by using it? Number three, for you folks that are either in or are planning a commitment to a significant other, I have 2 words of advice. 2 words, 1 verse. And if you can do both, you will have a very successful relationship. The 2 words are cherish forever. The verse is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Read it. And if you can practice it and do it, you'll have a very happy relationship. Number 4 is it's much better to err on commissions than omissions. You're better off to do more things, even if some of them are not good. You'll be sorry for things you don't do more often than things you do. You let opportunities pass that you wish you would have done something, do them. Rather than waiting, letting it go. You'll be a happier person if you have more commissions than omissions in life. When you're thinking about your career, some of you, maybe 20% of you, would be better off in society. You'll be better serviced if you have a very squiggly career path rather than a linear, sequential, upward mobility path. Because the future is going to have so many uncertainties that you can't prepare for them in any sequential manner. A lot of it's going to be just by happenstance, serendipity, and others that you're going to get experience that you'll make a better decision going forward in the future if you have a squiggly path rather than a well-planned out linear path. Because the future is going to be very different between science, politics, all the things that are currently going on. Number 6, never let your ego win. You have an ego problem, it's going to be a problem. So try to manage your ego. In fact, there's whole books on how you manage your ego. More people get in trouble with a super ego than anything that I know. They don't know when to stop. So just think carefully and just never let your ego take over if possible. That doesn't mean you got to be a weakling or that sort of stuff. It's just don't let your ego be the dominant force. Number 7, take every opportunity to spend time with big thinkers that think differently. That'll give you new insight. They're everywhere. And the best way to do that is to volunteer to serve in some way. On a committee, with a group, some kind of a service, community activity. They're everywhere. And every time you run into one, take advantage of it. And not to be totally self-serving, but it'll be good for you and maybe good for them. So try to connect with big thinkers. It'll serve you well. From time to time, it's worth you sitting back and rethinking who are your best friends and why. We throw that word around all the time. They're my friend. They're friends. What does that really mean? And who are your best friends? And why are they your best friends? Probably because you can count on them in any circumstance, on any issue that ever comes up. That ends up as to be in mind. I think at any given time I have probably 3 what I would consider at current very best friends. I have a lot of friends, they kind of change, but currently very best friends, probably 3 to 4 at any one time. Start every day being thankful. Make a list. You know, I'm thankful my wife is very good-natured. I'm thankful every day. She could be like me, so I'm really blessed. You know, be thankful for family. Hey, I'm thankful I got a nice home. I've got plenty to eat. I got plenty of things I'm going to do today. So go through every day, start with a list of 5. I'm thankful for these today. It'll change your whole day. So number 10, you're fortunate to be in pharmacy right now, whether you know it or not. It's a very challenging, transforming era that we're living in, faster than ever in the past. We're in an accelerated rate of change that nobody knows what's going to be needed. But you've got a good education, you've got good training, you've got skills that are needed to help solve these problems. So probably you are more blessed than you realize, because it's easy to get discouraged with all of the stuff that's going on. So just keep your head up and keep churning, because you are more valuable than you probably give yourself credit with your education, training, and the roles that you're currently playing, and will play increasingly in the future if you stay positive.
So thanks, DZ. Time we spend with you should always, in addition to being informational and inspirational, it should bring joy and fun. So one last thought on a contemporary topic where I'd like your thought on. You hear a lot today about resilience and the importance of resilience and work-life balance. Can you share your philosophy on work-life balance?
There is no such thing. There's work-life balance is not a balance, it's a juggling act. And if you're in the pharmacy association area of interest, you've got work, you've got association, and you've got your outside life. And so you've got 3 things you got to juggle with, and there's no balance. It's never going to be a balance. Maybe over a year you can bring some things into equilibrium, but it's a constant juggling. And so just accept that if you want to play in that game.
Advice to someone who's feeling overwhelmed?
Well, yeah, you're going to have buddies. You don't know when they're going to show up, but don't keep it to yourself. You can't handle it alone. So you have to develop some network of confidence that you can go to, and I think it's the 3 to 5 friends. Say, hey, I'm hurting, I'm in trouble, what do you think? And almost always they'll come up with some pearl that'll say, boy, it looks completely different. And it's instantaneous like that. It happens all the time.
I guess lastly, just looking back on, your career, your life, what you've done, the people you've spent it with, any last words you'd like to share?
No, I tell everybody if they'd have been born 1 month earlier or 1 month later, they'd be a completely different person. So accept what you got, what your gene pool that you were given, all the experiences that you're exposed to, and enjoy it. YOLO, you only live once. And so this isn't a practice run from my perspective, so give it the best shot you can.